Okay, I invited you, Emily, because as the neurodivergent author that I am, I had major aversion to doing this video. As the person that's helped me edit the book, I'm so grateful for our friendship, and I feel a lot more relaxed when I'm around you, especially when I'm, trying to put my work out there. So this is why I invited you, and I thought we'd have a little conversation.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It has been so much fun and such an honor to work with you on this book. I'm just like really excited to see it coming into fruition and to I'm going to be excited to see everyone else's reactions to it because for me it's just been like incredible to even get to read it as we're editing it.
Well, maybe we can slow it down and just tell, like, so the title of the book is A Guidebook to Glimmer Hunting. How to resource ourselves. What's the rest of the anyway, A Guidebook to Glimmer Hunting. And I'm like, I don't even know the full title of my book right now. That's fine. It's where I'm at. Um, I talked about it with you because glimmer hunting's kind of been my way of surviving my pain journey. And glimmers to me are some things that bring me back to myself, bring me back to a sense of safety or strength or joy, um, or power, feeling empowered again. And so glimmer hunting is just really actively looking for those things, like recognizing them, and then taking some time to let my body, my nervous system, my being know that they're benefiting me. Anyway, so just for a little, does that sound right? What is
Yeah.
now
What
that
are
I've
like
said that, what do glimmers and glimmer hunting mean to you? Now you've helped me with this fucking book.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so glimmer hunting has really become part of my lifestyle over the last couple of years. And um, when I think about glimmer hunting, I just think about looking for the things that bring me joy and make me feel alive and happy. And that is sometimes, as simple as just like listening to music on my headphones and dancing a little bit. Listening to my son giggle at something, it's like the practice for me is both looking for those kind of opportunities, but also noticing them when they happen naturally and really like feeling into them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big deal because we can really just let those things pass by and not even, I think it's important because especially when it feels like everything in our lives, like shit's hitting the fan from every angle. And sometimes when it feels like nothing's going right, there's nothing benefiting me, when in actuality, there always is something that can benefit even the smallest thing. And so to practice that's really important. It's been important for my mental health and just to like find some light in really dark places. And I think we've talked about this before too. It's not about like positive toxicity, not like just looking for positive things or silver lining. It's really like, no, I need to take in these things. I need to recognize that I have goodness around me so that I'm more resourced and more able to face difficult times. So it's not about not facing the difficult times, it's about like having the strength, like gaining the strength to face them through glimmer hunting.
Yeah,
That is,
that is a really good point. I think there's a lot of like toxic positivity out in the world right now, where there's just a lot of pressure for people to kind of ignore the challenging, difficult things that are happening in their lives and in the world. And that's one of the things that I really actually love about glimmer hunting is that it is not about that at all. And in fact, a lot of glimmer hunting is actually being with our like most challenging, difficult emotions and experiences and actually finding joy in that in
Mhm.
like this very real way that's in no way about like covering over the painful parts.
Yeah, and then after a while, like a really hard conversation with a friend can become a glimmer because you're like, fuck yeah, we did that. Like that benefited us. We did the hard thing and like that becomes a glimmer. So glimmers aren't just like we joke about rainbows and unicorns, like glimmers like difficult things can glimmer us up. So that's really important, you know.
Totally. Yeah, it makes me think about times that we've had conversations where we're talking about our like chronic illness and challenges with neurodivergence and, just life struggles that we're going through. And we're like in hysterical laughter the entire time somehow, because there's just this like healing power in being honest with another person who can resonate with you. And that's like kind of the feeling that I get with glimmer hunting as well, where it's like getting to the realness of what's happening to such an extent that you can find joy in it, even when it's something that's very challenging.
Yeah, and like this whole book was written in a glimmer hunting way, right? We're not just like talking about glimmer hunting in the book. Like you helped me glimmer hunt. Like there were some stories that I was trying to get out that were really hard to get out, and you really helped me like, glimmer up and find my strength through things and move through like a lot of stuckness that happens with neurotypes like me or like can I even get through this fucking thing? And so the book itself was a big glimmer hunting process in itself. So I really appreciated that about you. You're always able to just really reflect back my glimmers and bring me back to like myself and why the heck I was even doing this, and it gave me lots of strength. I super appreciate it that we both had that language. But
Yeah.
like why so because people are like I'm asking people to support my Kickstarter. Why do you think they should support this Kickstarter?
I mean, I think they should support the Kickstarter because they will get a lot out of the book. And yeah, I mean, I'm someone who has struggled my entire life with anxiety and chronic pain and finding joy and like finding that sense of like groundedness is something that was always really, really challenging for me. And I've explored so many different, so many different modalities and healing techniques and meditation and mindfulness and therapy techniques. And glimmer hunting is really what has like stuck with me as the practice that just helps me to function better and like live the life that I want to live. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think if you're someone who isn't necessarily a like upbeat, positive person all of the time, someone that is like dealing with really intense challenges, like a lot of the sort of positive information out there can be really not accessible. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
It's sort of not accessible to just like be optimistic and like have a positive mind frame. But we still want to have joy in our lives. And I feel like glimmer hunting is a way, whether you're an optimist or a pessimist or you're dealing with really big challenges in your life, it is a way to like tap into that joy over and over again. So anyone who's looking for that, I think absolutely should support the Kickstarter and help get this book out into the world.
Yeah, thank you. You know what it's reminding me? I remember you glimmer hunting a migraine. Do you
Yes.
remember? It
God.
was so good. It was so
Yeah.
good. Because it like actually moved you through a lot of the pain of the migraine. It was actually like almost a fun ride. Like you were like discovering this migraine in all different ways. And that might sound trippy to some of you, but it wasn't, it was actually quite simple and really sweet. But it
Yeah.
really, I remember it reducing so much of your migraine. And that resonated with me because I have migraines 24/7, which is why I've really needed to glimmer hunt to well, to not take my own life. Like, let's be real. Like, it's been really intense to live with pain. And I loved that story when you glimmer hunted the migraine. I was like, fuck yeah, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, during my pregnancy, I was getting these really, really intense migraines. And I get migraines a couple times a month regardless, but during this phase of my pregnancy, they were like really, really intense. And there was this day that it was so intense. I was just getting, you know, literal glimmer. I like always joke about this story because I was getting these literal, rainbow sparkle effects over my vision. I could not even really see anything because it was so intense. And so I had laid down and closed my eyes and in like total darkness and in the dark, all of these rainbow visions were happening. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go glimmer hunting in this migraine right now. And I closed my eyes and I just started watching the images that were coming up, and they started to shift into pictures. I started to like watch these little pictures like play out in my mind. It was like honestly very similar to like a psychedelic kind of experience.
It's true.
And it was like so magical and beautiful. And I was able to like lie there, even in immense, immense pain, and actually like enjoy what was happening.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like, yeah, such a good example of glimmer hunting because it's not just about like, I don't know, like the kind of wellness fads, like take a long bath and like, like, I'll say like, oh, I dance to my music for glimmers, but it's like, it's not just the happy things, sometimes it's finding something worth being with in whatever uncomfortable experience you're going through.
Yeah, and like that was the big thing for me of like switching from the question of like how do I get better, from living with so much pain to how do I live a joyful life with pain? And that was like, okay, then I need to glimmer hunt. I need to notice like what else is around, what's benefiting me from this experience I'm having. I
Yeah.
love that. I guess touching into there's also so there's the book which you've helped me with. There's a big piece about it's not just the act of glimmer hunting, but there's a lot about like how do we integrate our glimmers, like the actual practice of like having our nervous system, our brain register it. Like that takes a particular methodology technique. Like by the time you were able to glimmer hunt your migraine, you had developed these integration techniques so you could do that with something really hard, but it's not like that's where we start, that's like little things to learn how to integrate so that we can integrate the bigger stuff. So there's that in the book, there's focus on that. And then as I was thinking of like we've got different ways of integrating the stories in the book themselves. Like there's a slowness to the book where you can kind of take time to integrate what I'm even talking about. So you've really helped me through that. Like how do we slow down the book so people can actually take in what they're reading and what they're experiencing. And you and I also just kind of agreed that this book could be cyclical. It could be a book that you could come back to over and over. So, the first time you read the book, maybe these particular glimmers came up, but the second time you might go a little deeper with your glimmer hunting and over, which I think is really fun and unique about the book too. And so another part about like how to integrate, which was from my friend Maritza, who's the creator of the Gentle Tarot, had seen some of the workbooks that I've been creating. I was hand drawing workbooks for the program, the Embodied Wonderment program that I also teach. And she was just like, uh, this is a deck. You can create a deck with this. I was like, are you sure? And I love her deck. So I was like, okay, if you say so. So we've also got a deck, right? Which will help be more playful and integrate the lessons and the stories in the book. So I don't know what you think about. What did you think about when I was like, let's do a deck too?
Oh my gosh, I was 100% on board. I love using tarot decks to just gain more insight, and it really helps me to like integrate, like you're saying. as I get messages back and then sort of see how they land with me, it really helps me to process information in a different way. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Me
And,
too.
and I love the way that the book has space for integration, like space for journaling prompts or, questions for people to answer. And like you were saying, it being cyclical, when you go back through on a second read, you can both put in new answers to those questions, but you can also see where you were at in the past by looking at what your answers were. So I am really excited to get a
Me
copy
too.
because I want to go through and do that and then have that experience of reading it the second time and seeing, like where I've grown, where,
Right,
what new
exactly.
things I'm working with.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And thank you. Thank you for just helping with that process. And I think one of the first conversations, I'm like, we need to have this be playful and like at a pace that would work for any neurotype, any, person, whatever they're going through. So thank you for that. It's been really fun to do that with you.
Yeah, it's been
So
really
what I'm asking for the Kickstarter, the other piece is I am neurodivergent. I am a person that lives with pain every day. I do need fucking help. Please help me. It's not just that I wrote this book, but like it's my life and it's my livelihood and it's all those things. So um it costs about 5 grand just to publish a book, and so I'm asking for your support, like for the support from people to raise that money by either pre-buying the book or the deck. I think I have a few other goodies on there where I can't remember, you can look it up. But so that's what I'm asking for as far as a Kickstarter, just for you to help me, for everyone to help me publish the book. And then so I have a bit more time. Emily and I talked about personalizing the book a little bit, so there will be hand-drawn things in there. As far as some of like the exercises go, I'm just gonna put in some hand-drawn little things in there to make it, I don't know, make it sweeter, make it more playful. So I need a bit more time for that. And um yeah, any help with the Kickstarter will help me do that. And Emily just told me today that she's almost done publishing the book, so really I'm hoping to have it done within the next 6 months, where I can finish the drawings and have it printed and all that. I am someone that lives with pretty severe illnesses, so I'm also giving myself an extra 6 months grace period if my health goes to shit. But it's not, right, Emily? I'm gonna be just fine. I don't know, do you want to add to that? Any of that?
Ah, yeah, I think you said it all.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to say, which has been so rad to do with you, just now that I've named that I am somebody that lives with chronic illness, and is that we were dismantling ableism the whole time, writing this book. That word might resonate with some people and not with others. I encourage you to look it up if you don't know what ableism means. But for us, what it meant is like we were, it wasn't just you meeting my capacity, but me also meeting like we were both making sure that we were meeting each other in a nourishing way, that our capacities were met, that we could speak of our needs about this process, so that you got to be a human being as an editor as much as like I got to have my needs heard and met. And that's been super special. And I think it'll be felt when people like energetically feel the book and read the book, But I'm super grateful for that, Emily, because that made me feel more confident that I could even write this thing, having you there, like fighting the good cause, dismantling ableism.
Yes. And I mean, that's one of the reasons that I love working on any project with you, honestly. Is that, yeah, there's so much like stigma in our culture around work and productivity, and like the idea that like we need to be on this like a specific timeline and we need to like meet all these deadlines, um and while there's many times in life that I will push myself into that mold, I think what this project really showed is that you don't need to be in that kind of headspace, and that when you really do think about both like everyone involved and what their capacity is. And like, yeah, there were weeks that we had planned to meet and then one of us wasn't feeling well. And then we pushed it back a week and that was fine. And I think that going at that pace, it really helped the book so much because it really gave time to really feel into all of the chapters and all of the exercises and the questions and really make sure that it all resonated and was clear. And it ended up just creating a really, really powerful book that I'm just
It
really
did.
excited for people to get to experience.
Thank you, me too. Seriously. I feel like it has it's got a thing of its own. It's like beyond me at this point. I'm so grateful I did it with you. And you can hire Emily to edit anything. An amazing, especially if you're neurodivergent like me. Fuck yeah. Emily, thank you.
Thanks.
I guess like those are all the pieces. We already talked longer than I thought, but I really like this. I think it's all we said all the good things. Yeah, I feel that's it. So please support me. And um it will only be a benefit. And I think I want to leave it with this. What I love about this book to me is it has such a pay it forward effect. Like the more that I know about glimmer hunting, the more that I can empower that I can inspire others to glimmer hunt, and then the more that they can inspire others to because we need each other. I talk about it in the book. We need glimmer friends, we need people that know how to remind us what our glimmers are, how to remind us how to come back to ourselves. And so that's my hope for the book really is that it has this amazing like trickle effect of goodness, of glimmers, of us resourcing each other, of coming back to kindness with each other. That's my big aspiration for it because it's fucking wild out there.
It
We
is.
need we need each other.
We do so much.
Okay, Emily, should we bow out? I just feel like we should do a little bow. Thank you for doing this with me.
So.